Okay, so are you ready to like totally crush that set buyer job interview?
I know, right? It's like such a cool job.
Yeah, and we've got all this awesome info from RoleCatcher. They're kind of like career gurus.
They really break things down.
Exactly. So listen up, because this is like insider advice gold.
Seriously?
But before we get all into like how to nail the interview, let's just back up for a second, talk about what a set buyer actually does. They're the ones who take the words on a script and turn it into a whole visual world on the screen.
Yeah, like they have to read the script almost like a detective looking for clues about what needs to be on set.
Oh, totally. It's like a visual treasure hunt, right?
And then they have to find all those things, like that perfect vintage lamp or a super futuristic gadget.
I know.
Eh,
And that's where the interview questions come in. RoleCatcher gave us a bunch of common ones, and we're going to break them down for you. Like, not just tell you what they are, but like what the interviewer's really trying to find out. And don't forget about RoleCatcher's AI. We'll tell you how that could be your secret weapon throughout this whole process.
it's kind of like having a personal interview coach.
Okay, so let's jump into the first question. What inspired you to pursue a career as a set buyer? It seems simple, but it's your chance to like really make an impression.
It's your elevator pitch. Don't just say you like movies. Tell them what specifically makes you excited about being a set buyer.
Right. Like maybe you're obsessed with historical accuracy and you love researching period furniture. Or maybe you're amazing at finding unique props at flea markets.
Exactly. Show them your personality. This is also where RoleCatcher's AI can be really helpful. It can analyze job descriptions and help you tailor your answer to what they're looking for.
That's so smart. Okay, next question.
Yeah.
How do you approach researching and sourcing props for a set? This is where they want to see if you can handle the details.
Totally. This is your time to shine. Tell them step by step how you find things. Do you start online or go straight to vendors? Or maybe you have a secret source for amazing antiques.
And don't be afraid to get specific. Like tell them about that time you found a rare book or a vintage camera on a tiny budget. That shows you're resourceful.
Right. And be ready for follow-up questions. They might ask about budgeting your time or juggling multiple projects.
Speaking of which, that leads us to, how do you ensure that all the props and furniture on set are safe and comply with health and safety regulations?
This is about showing you're professional and you care about safety.
Because that's super important on a busy set.
Exactly. So show off your knowledge. Talk about specific safety rules, like how to handle flammable props or fire retardant treatments.
And think about what you'd do if a prop turned out to be unsafe after it's already on set.
Right. They want to see you can solve problems quickly. And this is another spot where RoleCatcher's AI can help. You can practice your answers and it'll give you feedback on how you sound.
Wow, that's amazing. Okay, moving on to money matters. Can you give an example of a time when you had to negotiate with a supplier or vendor to secure the best deal?
Budgeting is like a huge part of this job. So this is where you show off your negotiation skills.
Tell them about a time you got a great deal, like a discount on props or lower rental fee for something special. Walk them through how you do it.
And be ready for those curveball questions. Like, what do you do if you can't get a lower price or if there are surprise expenses?
Okay, next up. How do you keep track of expenses and ensure that you stay within budget?
Spreadsheets are a lifesaver.
Totally. They want to know how you stay organized. Do you use special software or are you a paper and pencil person?
Just show them you're detail-oriented and responsible with money.
And that you know where every dollar is going.
Exactly.
Okay, this next one is all about multitasking. How do you manage competing demands and prioritize tasks when working on multiple projects simultaneously?
Set buyers are juggling like a million things at once, so you got to prove you can handle it.
Right, like tell them how you stay organized. Do you use project management tools or just a really good to-do list?
And be ready to talk about what happens when deadlines change or new projects pop up.
Because that happens all the time.
Totally. Flexibility is key.
All right, next question. How do you stay up to date with the latest trends and developments in the industry?
This shows you're passionate and you're always learning new things.
So tell them about the industry magazines you read, or the design blogs you follow, or maybe you go to all the big trade shows.
It shows you're on top of your game.
Okay, last question for this part. How do you manage and motivate a team of set buyers?
Even if you haven't managed a team before, this question is about seeing if you have leadership potential.
So tell them how you would approach it. Are you collaborative or more hands-on?
Either way, you got to show that you can build trust, communicate clearly, and give good feedback.
And be ready to share examples of how you've led teams in the past, even when things got tough.
Yeah, they might even ask you about dealing with conflict.
All right, that's a lot to think about, but don't worry, we're just getting started. We'll be back with more interview questions and tips in the next part of our deep dive, so stay tuned.
Okay, so we're back. Are you ready for more interview tips?
Totally. Now, before we jump into more questions, let's talk about something from RoleCatcher's Career Guide. It's all about building your experience.
Yeah, that's a big one. How do you actually get started as a set buyer?
Right? You don't need to jump straight into a huge Hollywood movie.
No way, start smaller, like independent films or student projects.
Oh, and theater productions too.
Yeah, that's a great point. You can learn so much from working on theater sets.
Totally. So once you have some experience, you got to show it off.
And that's where your portfolio comes in.
Like a visual resume.
Exactly. Put pictures of the sets you've worked on, props you've found, maybe even some mood boards to show your style.
And this is where RoleCatcher's AI can really help. It can analyze job descriptions and tell you what skills to highlight in your portfolio.
So smart. Okay, let's get back to the interview questions. This one's about logistics. How do you manage the procurement and delivery of props to the set?
They want to know you're organized and detail-oriented.
So walk them through your process. How do you find props? Do you rent or buy?
And tell them about a time you had to deal with a tricky situation, like maybe a fragile antique or a last-minute prop replacement.
Those stories show you can handle anything. Okay, next question. How do you stay organized and manage your time effectively when working on multiple projects with tight deadlines?
Sounds familiar, right? It's all about multitasking.
Exactly. Tell them about your system. Do you use project management tools or just a good old planner?
Just show them you can prioritize and meet deadlines.
Okay, here's one that tests your problem-solving skills. How do you handle situations where a prop you've sourced turns out to be damaged or unusable on set?
Oh, that happens sometimes.
It does, but they want to see that you can think on your feet.
So tell them about a time you had to improvise or find a replacement prop super fast.
Okay, next question. How do you approach collaborating with the production designer and other members of the creative team to ensure the props and set dressings align with the overall vision for the film?
This is all about teamwork.
Right.
Yeah.
You gotta show them you can communicate and make sure everyone's on the same page.
Do you use mood boards or have lots of meetings? Just
Yeah.
explain your style.
They might ask about specific projects where you worked with a production designer or how you handle creative differences.
Because you got to find a way to make everyone happy.
Totally. Okay, this next question is super important these days. How do you incorporate sustainability and ethical sourcing practices into your work as a set buyer?
It's about being responsible.
Exactly. Talk about how you source props. Do you try to rent or repurpose things?
Do you find eco-friendly vendors?
Just show them you care about the environment.
Okay.
Okay, here's a fun one. If you could design the set for any film or television show, past or present, what would it be and why?
Oh, I love this question.
Think about a show or movie you love and tell them why the set design is so cool.
Is it realistic, whimsical, historical? Just share what grabs you.
Okay, let's switch gears and talk about your resume.
Super important.
And this is where RoleCatcher's AI can really make a difference.
Right. It can help you tailor your resume to each specific job you apply for.
It's like having a personal resume writer.
And it can even help you get past those applicant tracking systems.
So you're more likely to get noticed by a real person. Okay, but that's not all. RoleCatcher's AI can also help you prepare for those behavioral interview questions.
You know, the ones like, tell me about a time when.
Exactly. RoleCatcher can analyze your practice answers and give you feedback on everything from what you say to how you say it.
It's like having a personal interview coach in your pocket. Okay, but even with all this amazing AI stuff, you still got to have that human touch, right?
Oh, totally. You got to be enthusiastic and passionate, have that special something that makes you stand out.
Yeah, that's not something you can just program into an AI.
Oh, nope. But practicing and being prepared can definitely make you feel more confident, and that comes across in an interview.
So it's like you're not just reciting answers, you're actually telling your story.
Exactly. You want to connect with the interviewer like a real person.
I like that. So be yourself, show your personality, and let them see how much you love the film industry.
And even if they don't ask you every single question we talked about, all these skills are important for being a good set buyer.
Yeah.
Being able to solve problems, be resourceful, communicate well, and show your passion.
Right. It's about those core skills.
Yeah.
And if you're feeling a little overwhelmed with all this info, that's where RoleCatcher comes in.
They're like your career cheerleaders. They've got all these tools and resources to help you through the whole job search thing.
Yeah, their AI platform and all their expert advice can help you with your resume, your interview skills, everything.
It's like having a personal career coach in your corner.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into the world of set buyers, just remember, a career in the film industry is totally possible. With passion, preparation, and the right resources, you can make it happen.
And who knows, maybe one day we'll be watching a movie and be like, wow, I bet someone who listened to the deep dive helped make that.
That would be so cool.
Yeah.
So if you're feeling inspired, go for it. Start looking at job postings, polish up your portfolio, practice those interview questions, and most importantly, believe in yourself.
And remember, RoleCatcher is there to help you every step of the way. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We hope you learned a lot and maybe got a little inspired. Until next time, keep learning, keep exploring, and keep diving deep